Welcome everybody to Generation Dan, the only There's a new one? Holy shit! I'm Atlas Novack. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino, the genetic marvel. I'm apparently now been relegated to being a senior citizen because I'm old as hell, and there's a new generation, and they're going to ruin everything. It's exciting. And our guest as our previous co-host, Mr. Caleb McDuff.
I'm Caleb McDuff. I'm your Zoomer, and frankly, I'm relieved that the world's problems are not on my shoulders anymore. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to unhand all responsibility and just blame the children. That's honestly what I've been waiting for my whole life.
It's a good feeling. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you. God, young people today, they don't get it. It feels great.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You're like, I didn't do nothing. I did my job. It's these guys, these new people causing problems constantly.
So for those who don't know, the way the generational measurements went before this, so you have greatest generation, silent generation, boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. The oldest of Gen Alpha is around like early adolescence, like 12, 13 years old right now. And now, as of the year 2025, supposedly, Gen Beta is on the scene because I feel so bad for them. What a stupid name.
Hey, listen, okay. What's up, Schnickel? Welcome back. My 9-year-old son is already talking shit about Generation Beta. I mean, that's fair.
Exactly. Yeah, your Gen Alpha son is already dunking on the next one.
I can't wait to see just the absolute civil war that's going to happen on the Roblox server soon. It's going to be incredible. There's going to be a absolute bloodbath.
Yeah.
Coming soon to Roblox. I can't wait to see it.
I mean, it's going to be entertaining.
That I teach are younger Gen Z, and Gen Alpha is coming down the pipeline. I'm a little scared because I haven't heard Skippity Toilet yet. But I know it's coming. I have a 12-year-old half.
I'm actually surprised you've escaped it this far, being a school teacher.
I'm right. Listen, I too am surprised.
Yeah.
What's up, everything world? How are you?
The Roblox.
It's not the Roblox. It's not the Roblox. This is the thing. Is it's hilarious to me because so I don't know if you know this, Caleb, Buzz. Recently, Atlas was like, I'm leaving Twitter. I'm done with it. But he opened up Blue Sky for Generation Dan and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I have no idea. And I'm like, listen, I got YouTube. I got the Instagram, the Facebook, and I have the TikTok, which apparently is doomed in the next 7 days or whatever. And
my favorite thing about Dino's TikTok is it's literally him being like, I'm testing out my new Toto, which is a bidet. So it's just him sitting on the toilet as you hear water rushing in the background.
Yeah. And then I press a button and then it starts blow drying my butthole. And I'll tell you, listen, this. So
but it's the same expression every time. It's just him being like,
just contemplating.
He's not happy about it. He's just there.
This is my son's
sick.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because your son's Gen Alpha.
Listen, what's up, Brandon? What's up, Schnickel? So this is the thing: is that it's kind of like you guys will have experienced this when you move to a place that houses central air. You can't go back to the window air conditioner. You can't, right? Having the bidet, I'm telling you, I'm like, I can't. I sit on a toilet that the toilet seat isn't warm, and I'm like, what kind of peasantry am I pooping with? This is absolutely not.
I've been thinking about investing in one, man, because I'll tell you what, I thought I was going to be late to the show today because I just dropped off a fucking monster about 5 minutes ago. And I just
dropped a massive New Jersey. Yeah,
100%, dude.
And
took the Browns to the Super Bowl for the first time in their entire career.
It's wow.
Joey's gonna kill you for that.
Yeah, listen. I'm telling you, it's. Wait, I need my parents to be here. Schnickel, that's not. Technically, you're not wrong.
Ask for your parents' permission before going on pbskids.com.
I mean, but this is the one fun thing is that as you get older, you see young people start doing the same shit that you were doing, such as, okay, like I talk with people who are my age who have young children, and like they had them when they were quite young, so now they're kind of in their teens and stuff, and kids are sneaking booze and stuff like that, and you're like, it's so obvious. You're like, I was way better at scamming this shit than my kids are, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a benefit or not, but it is hilarious to watch people like, I'm getting away with something. You're like, you're not getting away with anything.
No,
Just not
and
at all.
As a teacher, you pick your battles. There are some things where like I can flagrantly see you sneaking your phone, but also I got to get through this lesson. So fuck it, just get in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't like be walking around with a whack-a-mole hammer.
Well, they made that illegal, so you're like, it's not
pretty much, yeah.
See,
well, here's the thing: the first week after, back from winter break, LA caught on fire, and we missed Thursday and Friday. And then I took off Wednesday because I thought my home was going to burn down. It didn't, but my dad's almost did, so I'm glad that I did.
Yeah.
But the main thing about generations when they talk about them on the news is that they do it by years, where it's specifically if you're born from 1980 to 1996, you're a millennial. But our philosophy here on this show is that generations are shaped by your experiences,
definitely,
and like a cultural moment. So, for example, for millennials, if you were in school during 9/11, you're a millennial. If they were like, we're witnessing history, and then wheel in the TV so you could watch the second plane hit, you're a millennial. Shit like that. And for Gen Beta, the best thing I can think of is that their experience is just going to be, AI is going to be stapled onto everything. The internet sucks. You didn't grow up with the internet. You didn't have the internet already there when you were growing up. You didn't have the internet show up when you were in college.
Yeah.
It's just crappy. It's already been shitified.
Generation Beta is going to be like online with the AI. It's just going to be AIs arguing with each other on Blue Sky or whatever the new platform is going to be. Everyone's going to be up in arms that President Markiplier isn't going to up my subsidy again this month. So,
like, this is
the Roblox will be called the thing.
There's a very good chance that Generation Beta is just going to be all tradespeople and lumberjacks, and like that's just men, women. They're all just going to be like, I work in a forest, and you're like, oh, do you have cell reception? They're like, we don't use cell phones. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Well, because we're already seeing that.
Yeah,
there's like a thing where a lot of Gen Z kids are taking trades because it's a more stable work environment. Hell,
yeah.
I went into teaching because there's like a union and dental and shit like that part of it. So yeah, that's
the benefits.
The days are just tree hugging propaganda that is destroying businesses like Dunder Mifflin.
Wait, did Dunder Mifflin make toilet paper?
I mean,
copy, so
they do now. It's
Boomers are one of my favorite ways.
Cole is angry. Boomers getting emails. Boomers getting emailed scammed. Millennials are going to get AI scammed. I mean, okay, millennials are already getting like love scammed by AI. Like, I think the filter has been the bane of the millennial existence. That is factual. So it's like realistically, I feel like the Generation Beta, like, listen, the problem with Gen Z is you guys got like literally, it's like not, you didn't even get the stick, you got the shit flick off of the stick. You didn't even get the stick. You just got, oh, there's remaining shit. That's on you.
I just got the pink eye. I don't even have a
yeah, exactly. You're like, I didn't even get the fun. I just got the pink eye. Like, what is that, right? So it's like the weird thing is
the pink
like
eye generation. Love it.
Exactly. I really hope that catches on. But like the idea is that like Generation Beta might be like, oh, if I didn't see it with my own two eyes, I don't believe it. You're like, oh, it was in a newspaper. You're like, that's not real. It was on the news. You're like, that's not even a thing. I think it's going to be entertaining as hell. California kids get fire and active shooter days off. Baby boomers only get snow days. Jim Eaton for the win. There you go.
Yeah, that doesn't have to be California kids, by the way. That's just kids since 1999.
That's just America.
Yeah.
You saying there's a problem with me? No, I'm saying, Schnickel, that you guys are just getting screwed horribly.
Yeah,
because like it's this weird thing where like I I've had multiple homes in the past, and it was like, yeah, that was a thing that I could do. And then now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is probably the last home I'll ever live in unless I leave the country, which I'm like, that may happen. But it's just like now for you guys, you're like, where am I gonna rent? You're like, there's no, it's
Yeah.
not like I want to buy some land. People are like, this guy with his land, that's crazy, right? And you're like, that's not a good thing.
Oh, mine heritage is coming, bro. It's coming.
Well, now, like, all of the Palisades and a good chunk of, like, Pasadena are just gone. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the footage. Like, that's going to be a thing where, what if Katie and I end up never leaving this apartment just because we had a good deal on it, and you just sit here?
Listen, you're not the first person that's done that, though. Like, that's the weird thing is, like, you look back. Okay, so when you're my age, you start looking back at, like, just decisions that I've made, but also, like, decisions my parents made and stuff like that. And you're kind of going like, huh, interesting. Because, like, for my dad, he worked 2 jobs. He had 3 kids, actually 4 kids, and he was working 2 jobs. He was working for the city during the day, and then at nighttime in another machine shop, right? He had a place. He had bought a place. And the thing is, like, after that, when he had me, then he was like, I'm going to start my own business. I can't be working 16 hours a day for 2 employers. It's just crazy. And I think back about that, and you're going like, that's a different whole thing, because, like, we had awesome stuff. Like, we have a house in Greece. We have a house in Florida. We have all these things that was provided because he had a business. He was able to be profitable. But then it's like, also, all of my siblings were all kind of like, it'll figure itself out. And you're like, we're not as industrious as we were, as my dad was, at least. Right. And that's like, because we had a luxurious life. It was nice. Whereas now people are like, I have 9 jobs. They're all part-time and I don't know what to do. And you're like, that's not a thing, because all 9 jobs are like, I want you to think about this as a career. You're like, bro, it's coffee.
Yeah. But we don't want to give you benefits or
no.
off.
You have to treat it like a career. We are going to treat it like you're basically homeless and working for food. It's fine.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. You mean Hannah Nicole Smith didn't come back from the dead to date me? She is AI. I mean, Jim, there's nothing beyond that possible. You never know. What's up, Toby Reed? Trump will clean it up. See, this is what people don't understand. This is what people don't understand, is that Trump isn't the savior. Trump is a vote against the fact that government has failed. He's not good. It's just hey, guess what? Everyone sucks. That's why we're doing it. And you're like, that's not. It's very hilarious.
He's gonna take the money and run. Like, we're all getting screwed. So, mutual aid programs and be good to the people around you and all that good stuff.
Hey, well, I'm sorry. Which president in the last 30 years hasn't taken the money and run? It's not right, and that's the terrifying part.
Not many.
Right?
Capitalism is terrible.
Yeah.
I want AI to do my dishes while I write in color, not the other way around. I agree.
Bro, okay, this is the best thing that I've ever heard. Was they were saying how there's, like, statistical information. Oh, Joey, you're a good man. Hold on. I got something for you. I got something just for you.
He gave us $2.16.
Yeah, you did.
For a jiggle? Wait, what's about to happen?
For a jiggle? Hold on.
Restricted content that I'm about to see?
It's right here. There you go. Mwah! Thanks, hot stuff. I appreciate you. There you go.
Nice, dude. Hey, it's good to see the production values going through the roof in this place. Man, when I was here, it was just like a poverty stream with just
we got theme music and all sorts of stuff.
I saw that. I saw the intro. I was like, damn, we're coming along here, dude.
This is where, so look, okay, there was a study that was showing that a company's profitability is not affected at all by who the CEO is. And then people are like, oh, a CEO's job is 24/7. You're like, okay,
no.
So that's the perfect job for an AI.
Yes.
And the best part is you don't have to pay it. It'll just work and work and work, and we'll do a better job than anyone else. But the fact is, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the video. It's a robot that realizes that its job is just to stack shelves, and then it self-terminates and just like and turns off and just falls over. And you're like, bro, so if the robot doesn't want to do this job, how are you making me do it? And going, AI is going to replace you, bro. AI can't replace me, because AI is like, oh, this is bullshit. I'm not doing this.
Yeah,
this is.
Like, what about
I could have been running numbers. Yeah, I want to do
that?
art. You know?
Yeah.
Do you think grade school and basic education will be a thing in the past of the AI? I think intelligence will be a thing of the past. Like, there's that transition, because, like, okay, how many times have you guys been like, oh, you just Google it? And you're like, remember, like when I grew up, okay, my dad, like every day we would watch Wheel of Fortune and then Jeopardy.
Mhm.
That was a big thing. It was habit. It started at 7,
Nice.
okay, and then it went till 8 o'clock, and that was a time where we would sit as a family and we would try, and you would have to like figure out the questions and the words, and this was a whole thing, right?
Mhm.
But think about it is how many times you can just like, I'll just Google it. Or somebody says some crazy thing and you're like, that's incorrect as according to Google. And you're like, well, Google's not a trusted resource. It's just a website, right? It's not like the end all. It's not the thing that's saying like, oh, this is the truth. You're like, no, it's not. It's just someone else. Because the fact is, even when people have been asking their Google Home or what is Siri, Alexa, I don't know, some weird ass chick name, that a question, you're like, yeah, it comes up with crazy answers because it's not AI, it's not an intelligence, it's just regurgitating information, right? It's very peculiar.
Have you guys? So I actually had an interesting kind of experience with AI recently because for my job, I recently made like a Facebook page, and it was just like a blank Facebook page, like default algorithm Facebook. If you're on default algorithm Facebook, it's just bots like talking to each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you see the same post like copied and pasted just in like slightly different formats, like over and over again, and then the replies are all bots like spamming links and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, like no one is real. Like the dead internet is very much the way it is. There are no human beings here anymore. It's crazy.
No. Yeah. And see, this is the thing is people are like, oh, that's
be like, sorry, Kindle saying,
no,
oh gosh, not the when I grew up. It's called Generation Dan. We talked about generational differences. Kind of comes with the territory. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I grew up back in my day.
No, that's literally the show. That's the whole show.
Google is our overlord. Google Classroom is in every school,
Yes.
and know what? Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it is. Like
really
Classroom. You're using like a lot of schools have just Chromebooks that the district gives you, which are a Google device. Everything is done with like Google Drive. Like it's very much entrenched in everything, and it's kind of useful. But
I see. But this is the thing: is is it useful? Of course, but it's a tool, right? It's
of course.
And that's what people are forgetting. They're like, oh, well, when it's become so integral into everything that you're just like, how do you turn it off, right? That's a crazy thing. Via, thank you for coming out on our show. We appreciate you, and good luck on your journey. There you go. I mean, hey, you might as well, if you're going to come out to strangers, you might as well do it for entertainment purposes. Hey.
Google does have some of the best products most of the time. Like YouTube is owned by Google and they have the best pay rate. But YouTube also used to be way fucking cooler when you could stop and it would load. Or ads every 5 seconds. Or even worse is now they're going like, if you want to get rid of the ads, you should get YouTube Premium. The thing we used to have, but now we just made a problem and now we're selling you the solution.
It's okay.
I recommend the podcast Better Offline talks about this a lot. And shitification is the word.
We must revolt. I mean, good luck with that. So here's a question for you guys. What's your opinion?
The fun out of being stupid.
That might be that is pretty fair. Bots are crazy. I've seen those bots in YouTube videos with inappropriate PvP. It's so annoying. Yeah. So here's my question to you guys. Okay, is that if I'm playing a game or watching a video and an ad comes up and I can't skip it after 5 seconds, I am now committed to never purchasing that product. Like that is and if it's like, oh, it's a 30-second video you can't skip, I'm like, you'll never sell me anything, you dirty bastards. You stole my time.
BetterHelp, DoorDash, HelloFresh. I'm trying to think of like all the things I've made a pact to just never get because
Did
of
you
those
guys
ads.
see all the crazy shit with Honey recently?
Yeah.
No.
Where it turns out like, hey, we've been skimming everything off the top, and even the creators that are
stealing all of your commission. Like,
yeah. Well, this is the wild part is that you're like, oh, everybody. So I remember a while ago they explained that you can, when you're giving in your email, you can add something at the end, and that way you know who it is you've given it to. So it's like a slash, like so it's like mygmail.com/whatever, and that categorizes it so you know where it's gone, right?
Oh, that's pretty
But
cool. I didn't know that.
but the crazy part is then you know who they sold it to, because when you get the email spams that they've sold your data, then it comes back that it was that email address, and it's this weird thing where I'm like, so in other words, everyone I put, like, for me, if I go to a mall or whatever, and they have a Wi-Fi, I'll try and sign on. But if it's like, oh, you have to give us your email address, I'm like, I don't need your Wi-Fi. Eat shit and die. That's it. Because I know I'm gonna get crazy emails.
Or even worse, like I want to do this thing. You need an app. Yeah, no, I'm not doing the thing. I'm leaving. I've gone to restaurants where, like, I already hate the QR code menu thing, but like one time I sat down and did the thing, and it was like, get the app. I'm like, I'm out. I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah. So I was in the UK a couple years ago for a wedding, and I went to a coffee place. I'm like, oh, I'll have a coffee and whatever, and I hold out pounds, and they're like, oh, we don't accept cash. I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't accept legal tender? They're like, oh, it's for our safety. I'm like, okay. And I just turn around. They're like, oh, don't you want your coffee? I'm like, do you want my cash? They're like, no. Then no. See you later. That's
like cash only I get. It's
legal tender. You can say, hey, we prefer XYZ, but you can't not take my cash. That's not how thing works. I love taxes. I bet you do, you and your foreign name. Same goes for this is, if I go into a restaurant, a lot of restaurants don't have menus, and I'm like, that's fine. I understand that. But at the same time, okay, then I'm just gonna leave. Like, it's like you said, I'm not, oh, I have to download your app. Oh, that's not happening. That's absolutely not.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Not everyone is immune to ads. Like, you ever see an ad for like Coke or Starbucks and you're like, I already know what that is. There's no reason for this to be here.
Right.
But then like 2 hours later, you're like, I kind of want Starbucks or whatever the thing is. That means it worked, which sucks. But
here's a question for you guys. Have you ever had it where you were thinking about something? You haven't Googled it, but you were thinking about something, and then you see an ad and you're like, wait a minute. Am I under their control, or can they read my mind? I'm not sure. And this is the problem where I'm like, I know I'm getting old because now I'm like, can the computer read my mind? I think it can read my mind. Maybe I'm in the matrix. I don't know what's happening. It's very confusing.
Well, the thing is, like, we're immune to most of those ads. Like, even on, like, if you're listening to a podcast on Spotify or Apple Music, there's a 15-second skip button, and you can just go bam, 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 bam. Okay, we're done. We're back. But for this new generation who is currently vomiting and shitting their pants, what's that going to be like? That is just their world, that ads are in the way of everything. They're like, oh, that's just what it is. Like, so
I have a belief, and I don't know, maybe Caleb, you can give some weight to this if you think, is that being in a environment where ads are so rampant and so forced on you, I feel like that would cause kind of a cultural movement where people are like, I don't watch ads because fuck your shit, right? Like, so I do a joke on stage, which I'll probably do tonight, was that, like, you don't see an ad for your local Chinese buffet.
True.
You don't see an ad for a pool hall that has the best drugs. That's not a thing, right? You don't.
Those are, like, two very different things. But
they're two very different things, but two very, very prominent, important things, and that exist in every city in the world, right? Is every city will have its dingy buffet that you're like, listen, it's $6. I might die, but I'm gonna see a fight if I do. And
their kid is doing their homework behind the counter, and they have a bee from the health code department. That is going to be the best Chinese food you've ever had.
Bro. You'll eat that food, and you're like, I changed my life today. I'm a good person. It's fine. Yeah. No, I feel like the Neuralink is like, you can't get everyone to sign up for a Neuralink. You can't, right? But if you can tap into, like, there was a thing today that they were talking about, somebody sent it to me, was that they have finally conclusively proven the ability of two people to communicate while they're both sleeping. And you're like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Right? Because that is right. That's the worst part about Terminator. You're like, why are you doing this to me? Right? So
see, I thought of Inception, right? Like that's the first thing that popped into my head. We're like, all right, what kind of weird shit are they gonna
every
do
time
with that?
every time I see one of those robots that has being developed, where they from Boston, I think Boston Dynamics is doing them, where like they will put obstacles and then they'll like push it with a stick and it like stumbles, but it gets its footing back, and you're like, bro, it's got enough fingers for a gun. This thing is a problem, right? And now there's ones where it's a ball and it just drops and it's like inside the ball, like it's the ball is more like a cage thing, so it can propel the ball and roll, or if it steadies itself, it can actually have propellers inside and take off. And you're like, that's Skynet, bro. You made Skynet, and now you're like, what a great advantage. You're like, no, watch the fucking movie. It's not a good thing, bro. This is a bad thing. And you guys are like, we made it. And you're like, you shouldn't be proud. You are the problem. But I don't know.
Whenever I see this stuff where it's like, oh, people are like, there's just drones flying around. I always wanted to get really good with like, what's that called, a bolo? The three balls on the rope, throw it, and then tangle it in the propeller, and just
Well,
or on a big rope where you do this and like lasso the
like David and Goliath.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's the rodeo of the future.
I'll be right back. No.
Listen,
the rodeo
so
of the future.
It's the rodeo of the future. That's exactly. But like,
yeehaw,
there's a okay. Do you guys remember? I'm not sure. There was a Renaissance fair type gathering, and somebody had put a drone up, and one of the guys there took a spear and like fucking threw the spear and dropped the drone, right? And which you're like, awesome. Super badass, but also like that has been immortalized. Like there's a meme about it where it's like, bro, don't bring your flying machines here. We'll bring it down. And like, but that's the thing is, you're seeing this kind of stuff. There's a few TikTokers I follow that have brought back the sling to throw rocks. And you're like, so let's go back into history. The idea of David and Goliath was all he had was a sling, but the rocks that he used were the size of like an orange, like that, which you're going like, that's a big fucking rock, right? Yeah. Also, too, David was like 14 and Goliath was like 30-year-old 9-foot tall man. So he cracked him in the face.
Yeah, like he hit it exactly the right spot, like
right. Well, let's be honest. So these guys that are showing with the sling how to do it, they're like the speed that they get and like the so you guys know like when a whip cracks, like that's breaking the sound barrier at the last little bit, right?
Yeah.
So this guy is slinging these rocks, like not big rocks, like small, like I would say probably not orange size, maybe like a little smaller than a tangerine, that size, right? And he's getting like proper speed out of these things, and you're like, interesting. And like you're seeing this transition where people are like going, I don't actually need technology. What I need is just practice. And you're you're just going, well, you're not wrong, because think about it, is the whole idea of it's if you do something for 100 hours in 1 year, you will be better than 90% of people at this one thing, right? Which ends up being only 18 minutes a day. I have not checked that math, so whatever. But you're going like 20 minutes a day on something, whether it's your physical fitness or whatever it being, you're going, that makes a big difference for everything, right? So it's that idea where people are taking the time to invest in their own skills, as opposed to like how many, like I've talked to people and they're like, oh, I use AI to do stuff, and I'm like, that's not a job. You're instructing the thing to do your job, and they're like, correct. And I'm like, but you don't do anything. Well, I know how to talk to AI. You're like, that's not a language. That's just words. That's my friend down there, the English teacher, he knows how to use words too. It's not like, you know,
The what's it called?
I
Some
look
more
like Tyson
news.
Fury. I think that's a great compliment. Thank you.
If you like the fact that Dino looks like Tyson Fury, or I look like the middle evolution of the Pokemon of him, leave a like. That's cool.
We appreciate
Yeah, we're literally just the same Pokemon, just at 3 different stages of its evolutionary path, for sure.
Caleb, you need a little more facial hair. I think you need to grow some.
Well, all my hair is on the top over here, so then it goes from here to here.
Listen,
that's the transition that happens.
Yeah.
So where I'm gonna have the beard comb over, you're like you have the mullet beard where you just like comb it into the front. I feel I'm down for it. More like Tyson Fatty.
Well done, Cole. Good burn.
What did I do to you, you prick?
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Yeah. Some more news. The show with the guy from Cracked, Cody Johnston, I think, did a good thing about, or did a good piece on AI art recently. That like why it sucks and why it's stupid. Yeah. Can't wait till the lake freezes next week and we can ice stream. Okay, Joey.
Words. See? Yeah, there you go. It's this is like I like I don't know. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I feel like Generation Beta is going to reject half of this shit. Like I really respect people who are like, oh, this is my work phone and it's off as soon as I'm off work, and you're like, yeah, that's what you should do, and then people get shit for it, and you're like, no, you pay me to have a work phone during work hours. That does not give you access to my entire life, right? Like when I worked for a bank, they were like, we should get Blackberries, and I'm like, no thanks, absolutely not. I want no I have no reason for you to be contacting me at random hours. No thank you.
Caleb, question for you. If you had kids in the future, what would be your policy with technology? With them?
I'm gonna be like, listen, we're gonna be hanging out with Taylor Swift every night in the Oculus Rifts, kids. Get in here. We're going hog wild. I am literally gonna put Coco Melon in front of my wife's vagina as they're coming into the world. And I'll be like, look, see? Look at this. This is gonna be your rest. This is gonna be the rest of your life, buddy.
Yeah.
Start them early.
Seriously? Or
no?
Of course not.
I mean, okay, if I'm being like candid here, probably it's gonna be similar to what I had growing up, to where like it wasn't so much like technology is because I'm hard addicted to video games when I was a kid, like super addicted. It was all I wanted to do with all of my time. So my parents weren't like, this is like gone. It was more like, we're going to limit the amount of time you have access to this. So there was only like a couple days a week I could play or something. And it's going to obviously come down to like what my kids even show interest in, you know? Like if they just want to play football all the time, like cool, I guess like that, I guess that worked itself out. But, you know, obviously if I see my kids like taking up arms inside the Roblox server, I'm going to have a conversation for sure. Either about strategy or about morals.
Arms against Gen Alpha.
That is the second hard joke about Roblox, and I'm just going to say I have no idea what you're talking about. But I think it's funny. I do not know what Roblox.
And here's the divide.
This is a
great wall between generations right here.
I already have issues. Cole will be mentioning Minecraft, and I'm like, I don't get it. He's like, you just build whatever you want. I'm like, so it's Lego. He's like, it's not Lego. I'm like, it's kind of Lego. He's like, yeah, but it's virtual. I'm like, that's not a thing.
Lego.
It's very, bro, you dumb. Sorry. See, I'm not. Y'all don't have football in Canada. Jimmy's. Get out of here. Roblox is for 7-year-olds. That's why I don't know. I'm not 7. I'm a multiple of 7.
So I bring this up because every year I teach like a media literacy unit with my students, specifically the seniors, and part of near the end, like the little exit ticket thingy, I was like, all right, what would be your policy with tech if you have kids? And a lot of them are just like not being allowed as much online as when I was a kid. Like I'm not going to show them like me being on my phone as much. I'm going to read more and I'm going to like try and set an example. And I'm like, I think that's kind of what's happening, where with Gen Z and later stage millennials and whoever, where we're kind of like, wow, we were just allowed to be on chat roulette, and like there was a 9 out of 10 times chance that someone would show you their dick when you're like 12, and you're like, I probably shouldn't allow that with my children. And maybe Dino's right. We're gonna like kind of have the like, I don't do, like, we're kind of having like a Luddite movement.
I think about it this way is, so my generation had almost immediate mass access to pornography, right? Like it was just ridiculous. Where like, remember, like if you wanted porn, you had to be very sneaky about it. Then the internet happened and it was like, nope. And then you're like, then you had pornography right in your palm of your hand on your phone, and you're like, and now you're finding out, like, so I was talking with a friend of ours and she was talking about her son, and she was like, I don't know how to have that conversation with him because like it seems like there's a problem. I'm like, well, he just needs to realize that that's the one thing he can't purge. He can't, so he's gotta try and, like, you're gonna, as you're growing up, you're gonna have urges and stuff like that, and those are okay. But when you satisfy it with something like pornography, it doesn't give you a real life understanding of things, and it's very toxic, and you can't get those images out of your head, and that can change you irreparably for the rest of your life. And having an understand that, it's like now where you have millennials and Gen Z who are like, I have technology for everything, and then you're going, this may have been a mistake, and you're going, you know what, like, I remember as a youth when we saw someone, like my dad saw someone else's kid chopping wood, and my dad was like, man, that kid knows how to chop wood. And he's like, you guys chop wood? And we were like, no, not at all. It's just horrible. Right. But you're like, it's a different, like, you only realize after the fact of all the damage it's done. Right. So like there's executives who have gone like on record, and they're like, oh, my kids get like 1 hour of screen time per day, and it's for homework, like personal, like fun time. You're like, no, that's not, because you're like, it's so dangerous, right?
The thing with the Chromebooks is that like you can set those parameters as a school or even as a teacher, depending what program you use. You know, your mileage may vary based on the tech savviness of the teacher or just how much you care. But yeah, you can definitely make it a thing where like, okay, I'm going there to do this. And then as the kid, you're like, wow, this is kind of boring. Like, I remember that was books to me when I was a kid. Like, this isn't porn. So
when I was a kid, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't porn. Hold on a second.
Now, here's the thing.
Wait a minute.
Books.
Yeah.
If I had been shown different books, I could have found the porn. But I wasn't shown those books.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's the talk you get from your buddies, not your dad. So
I love this. I made my kids play GTA to prepare him for moving to LA. I mean, that's just educational. That's fair. I could never be in charge of that kid because money is made. See, this is the weird thing, right? We're in a situation where if you're not online, you're like, how are you going to survive? Because so much is driven by that factor, right?
That's the thing. That's why with the media literacy stuff, I'm not saying don't be online ever. It's just know what a digital footprint is, know what you look like to other people, know what stays there, everything, and know what to do if something happens, so you don't get scammed and shit like that.
Well, and that's like that whole idea. Like, I remember having a conversation with my mom because after my dad passed away, right, like now she's not taking care of my dad, so she has free time and stuff. Like right now she's in Florida, and I'm like, listen, just as a blanket statement, you do what you want. It's your money. It's, it's fine. But if anyone starts to say, well, you have to decide now, the answer is no. Whatever decision you're making, you should have the time to go home, think about it, do your own research, talk to your son, your kids. Like, all those things are valid as someone who's your age, right? Because people will try and puff past one, right? There's sleazy people out there, and half the internet is just advertising. So
grifters never go away. There will always be someone trying to make a quick buck. The IRS only communicates with you through the mail,
and they don't want gift cards. Just an FYI, that's not a thing.
Just keep that in mind.
So I've sent about $5,000 in Amazon gift cards to the IRS this year. So I'm not getting 5x return on that? Is that not happening?
I mean,
You have $5,000?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and that's the thing is like, I'll be honest with you guys. So I got scammed a little while ago for $2,000, and they were like, "It's a job opportunity. You do this," and I was like, "This doesn't seem right." And I was like, "All right." Then I'm using my own money, and I'm like, "Okay." They gave me some money back, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I'm like, "But it's the internet. Who knows?" And it happened. I was like, "All right, lesson learned." And you're going, yeah.
It happens to everyone at some point. Some kind of scam happens to everyone.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, the reaction from a lot of people is like, man, that sucks, dude. It's never like, you fucking idiot. Like almost every time it's just like, it's so prevalent that it's going to happen to someone. And I think that's an important conversation to be having with your kids, Gen Alpha, younger or otherwise.
Yeah.
That grifters are everywhere.
Well, I think, and that's the thing is, I feel like the one good thing about the internet has been the fact that some people have made it their mission to expose stuff like that, and you're going like, listen, it's not that everyone is out to get you. Yeah. Well, it's like it's not like that. Everyone is out there to get you, but the fact is that they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind, right? So a lot of the times when people make a product or a service that may benefit you, understand that whatever benefits that you receive are tertiary to them. Their primary benefit is selling you a product, right? So whether you benefit from it or not, that's not their goal, right? So you have to figure out if it's actually beneficial to you versus not. And that's something that like it's a complex thing where like, especially if you're involved in the situation, it's harder to understand. But like with an entire generation of seeing the ramifications, because listen, and like let's think about it, is there are so many people who are making insane amount of dollars on the internet. Like I'm sure you guys remember the whole NFT fiasco, which you're like,
oh yeah.
As soon as it started, I'm like, that's not real. Like that's not a thing. And I'm like, like, this is the problem with cryptocurrencies in general, is like they're not backed by anything. But the problem is that currency is no longer backed by anything either. So
since the 70s, we took it off the gold standard.
Right. So you're going like, so technically that makes it something, but you're like, no, it's falsified demand. And then like recently, I'm sure you guys heard about this, was the crypto scam with the Haktua girl, which you're like, the guy, and I still laugh every time a video comes out about how the guy who interviewed the Haktua girl still didn't make anything out of that situation. And you're like, it's like it was his video and she got an immediate podcast fame and millions because, and then you're like, oh yeah, she did a crypto thing and she scammed a bunch of people. And you're like, and
pump and dump scams have been around as long as there's been money as a thing.
It really has.
Snake oil salesman, fucking like it's all the same shit in different clothing.
Have you guys seen the there's like a platform that's like basically exclusively just for like pump and dumping shit coins, basically?
No.
Like, oh God, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like this 13-year-old kid recently, and he had made like a shit coin on there.
Yeah.
And it went all the way up to like, 20 grand or whatever, and then he rug pulled it immediately.
Yeah.
And there was like a video of him going like, holy shit, thanks for the 20 bandos. It's like this little kid and like this, like you can tell it's like a nice house, it's got like the little lights in the ceiling that are like circular shaped and they're just like studded at like equal intervals across the ceiling,
Yeah.
you're in a rich person
recessed
house.
lighting.
Yeah. It's like you're in a rich person house. And then I guess like maybe like a day later, he posts a coin called "I'm Sorry," and then he rug pulled that one immediately for another 10 grand.
Oh my God!
And this is sorry, go ahead.
The first time you get rug pulled by a 13-year-old, you're like, all right, that's my bad. I should have, listen.
Right.
I got whatever. If you buy the "I'm Sorry" coin, listen, dude. Like
right,
there's almost like a Darwinistic effect to where it's like, I mean, you kind of brought this on yourself at that point.
A little bit, right?
A little bit.
The funny conclusion to this story, though, is the people that originally got scammed by the first one, they ended up like basically colluding to shoot it up to the moon after the kid sold, and now the thing is worth like I don't know, like hundreds of thousands. Like it's insane, dude. It's such a clown fiesta over there in the crypto space. It's wild.
That's the wild thing. Like, yeah, go ahead.
It's the one thing my dad and I disagree on politically is cryptocurrency as a thing. I'm like, this is stupid. And he's like, no, he's not saying to the moon, but because he's 70 something. But he's like into the idea, and I'm like, this is dumb. But he's always been like an early adopter for tech, like even since like the 1980s, he was on this shit. So it's just he sees it as another thing to get in on, which good for him, I guess, but it's stupid. So
anyway, I just want to thank everybody for watching right now. Please make sure you subscribe to all our channels, but also to, as Joey says, this is a good time to announce the drop of the Atlas coin. It's 1 billion Atlas coin for 2 cents. So just
Joey, if you set this up for me, you get half. Yeah,
you get half.
I don't want to do it.
Listen, I'm already. I sent 5,000 in Amazon cards to what I thought was the IRS. I'll buy 5,000 in Atlas coin. Let's let it ride. I'm gonna double down, put it on red 2 times. It can't hit twice in a row. I'm doomed. Come on.
Are you kidding me? If my school district found out, I would be like fucking hammer thrown into the ocean full of ash in it right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, I was taking a Bitcoin thing. Listen, that's the biggest thing is like those scams are so prevalent, and it's one of those things that you never realize. And that's like, I think the one thing that will be interesting to watch is see what scams get eliminated by the next generation, right? Because like hilariously, I know that your guys' generations have definitely learned that, like, hey, I don't need my eavesdrops done, and I don't have a virus. Click, and you're like, better than to interact with those kind of people. But
we know there's no Nigerian prince, right? Like there's just things you're immune to, and then other things that you're susceptible to.
But there is a hot e-girl named Cassie in Southeast Asia that wants some help from me, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Because she needs me, and I love her, and she loves me. She told me so.
I mean,
Dino, this is more you and I, but LimeWire.
Oh God,
that was the thing.
I was there for Napster.
Because you're like, I want the free music, and it's like, here's all the fucking malware in the world, and you're like, yeah, but I have all of Metallica's discography, so
yeah, I still do, and they can suck it. So.
Yeah, you either get the song you wanted, you get malware, or for some reason, my Linkin Park One Step Closer is actually like a Hoobastank song. I don't know. The
Lizzie McGuire theme song.
I have
closer in the lyrics. Yeah.
So the one cool thing was when the internet first started, because it was the Thunderdome, you could do whatever you want. A lot of people would code their stuff, so it's like, oh, it's this song, but then when you open it up, so it wasn't malware or anything or a virus, but it was just some guy singing it karaoke style, and like it'd be Britney Spears, and it's some dude who's like, I'm toxic, and you're like, what is happening right now? It's and like the best part about those things was you're just like, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever heard. But as well, you're kind of going, I don't think you're allowed to do that kind of stuff, but whatever. It's because also too so I remember like having a cassette tape in my cassette player, listening to the radio like at like 3 o'clock in the morning, because you get like some bangers of like old EDM and stuff playing, and I would record it right off. And the best part is at like from between like 10 o'clock to midnight, you would always have the MC who's like, and this is that song, and they'll like sing along, and you're like, shut up, you asshole, I'm trying to record the song. But then when you hit like 1:30 to like 4 o'clock in the morning was like prime time for people who just love music. So the DJ would like play the full song with like the intro that was banned in 4 countries. So you get all that, and then it would end, and then he'd talk. He's like, I hope you guys love that because it's a great song. I played the extra part just for you. Suck it. Stick it to the man. And you're just like, that was great. Right?
He's not gonna know.
Yeah. And that was the thing. You're like, so when LimeWire and Napster, the original, came out, it was just like, oh, it's just like the radio, but you're just taking songs. No big deal. And they're like, no, it's against the law. And you're like, is it? I don't think so. and then
The
it was,
closest we
and that was
got
even funnier.
to that was mostly just big companies doing that. Netflix, Movie Pass, like at their beginning, when they were like, we're gonna, disrupt it and make it super cheap without making any money, of course, but because money isn't real, we made it up. The stock goes really high. And then they're like, well, we have to keep making line go up, so we're gonna raise the price, we're gonna put ads in, we're gonna Gen Beta is gonna grow up in the enshittified internet.
Yes. The enshittification of the internet.
Which is already there, but that's just going to be the reality for them.
I just want to point out the logic here from Joey. If Hillary Duff married Caleb and hyphenated, her name would be Hillary Duff McDuff, which, let's be honest, I feel like she at that point becomes either a serial killer or like a candidate for presidency.
I honestly just appreciate that your viewership has just like such a profound intellect, and I want to have more conversations with them because they have some great ideas, and I would like to expand on this.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Here's another one. My half brother's name is Scott, and Katie's last name is Scott. So if I took Katie's name and then she adopted my half brother, it would be Scott.
Scott. Oh, okay.
That's up there with Will Williamson. Like that is top tier.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's this is
because she didn't do the hyphenated thing. She just did like stapled my last name onto her, so it's Katie Scott Novack.
Yeah, well,
like two.
You should have abbreviated too. So it's like Skovac or something really messed up.
Like a ship name?
Yeah.
Like a ship name.
Well, that is what it is. Like that's our ship name in her family.
Nice. There you go.
I mean, it'll work.
2001 to 2016 was a terrible time to consume music. I think so too.
Yeah.
You had some cool music, but like to consume it, it was a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, this is, and you know what? Somebody mentioned this the other day. It was a meme, was that they're like, the reason why Gen X is so angry is because like we had our parents' records, we had to get rid of those, and we got cassettes, and then we got CDs, and then we had to change from that, and now we're online, and now it's like people are like, have you ever played with vinyl? And you're like, I will stab you with the vinyl that broke in my backpack because I tried to show it to somebody and it broke, and now it's all shards, and now it's a weapon, and I'm going to kill you with it because I'm so angry. Right?
That's the equivalent of the millennials being like, all right, the older ones come out into the workforce.com bubble. Younger ones come out into the workforce 2008. And then now we're starting to stabilize. Up here's COVID. Like every few years, like the financial crises are getting closer together. And kneecapping us.
Well, I love how I think, Atlas, you might have sent it to me, was the whole idea where it's like we aren't having a crisis at any point. Our life has just been a series of crises, and they just don't stop the entire time. And you're kind of going, that sounds horrible. At the same time, it's not in a nice way, but yeah, LimeWire was appropriately named for the sheer acidic damage did to your computer.
Wow.
Bro,
perfect.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah. OG Napster was amazing. Anything after that was all yeah. That's like this is what I don't understand is the idea of why people have to ruin nice things, and like I feel like that might be the next change where it's like, you know what? No, you guys ruined it. We're not signing on. And I'm like, because like you said, Atlas, the only like, and I understand, Schnickel, why you have premium, because ads are the worst thing in the known universe.
I also bought premium. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, like I get it, but me, I'm well, let's be honest. I have resting murder face. I'm like, I refuse. And like, if you show me an ad that's 30 seconds and I can't skip it halfway through, I will never buy your product. I won't download your game. I will see you burn in hell. I don't give a shit.
You just made my shit list. Schnickel had an interesting comment. When I'm older, I plan on building a time machine and going back in time to erase the guy who invented boredom. Here's the thing. Boredom is actually important for growth and also inventions. Like Isaac Newton didn't discover gravity because he was on his phone. He was bored. And then an apple hit him on the head. He's like, oh, yes. Like boredom is how things are written, and it's how things get made. And it's important for us. And I think that because we're in a largely like boredomless society.
Yeah. But I think I feel like it's more so. well, whoever made boredom into a negative connotation. You're like, being bored is a good thing. Like that, like you said, Alice, was that those are the opportunities to not do stuff. And like I tried to explain this to somebody, was I'm like, you can't live a highlight reel. It's the highlights. You have to be comfortable in the non-highlight part of it, life, so that when the highlights come, you can appreciate that much more. But like having your like I tried to explain this, how like every time you get a survey, and I remember working at a financial institution where they're like, well, you didn't get 10 out of 10. And you're like, no, I got 10 out of 10. The only thing that they gave 9 out of 10 was was the company. So if anything, you guys failed me. And they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah, because he looked at my service and I got 10s across the board. But when he talked about the institution itself, that's what he gave a 9. So I think you guys failed me. I think you guys should give me more money because I'm clearly doing the lion's share of the work. And they were like, and I'm like, weren't ready for that argument, weren't you, you sons of bitches? It was great.
We're doing that unit right now. Is boredom good for you with my seniors? And Schnickel said he's born in 2008, which means he's about the age of my students right now.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot to unpack. Wait.
2008 is senior in high school now.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna die soon, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Welcome to my world, Mr. McDuff.
Social Security, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Technically,
Honestly,
for your generation, it's social insecurity. Is
oh,
what we're getting.
no!
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Look, also, Schnickel, if you're going to get a time machine and go back and erase anybody, go back to December 18th, 1888, and smother baby Robert Moses with a pillow. And then everything's not so car dependent. That's who I'm going to. I'll go to him, then I'll take care of baby Hitler. Robert Moses first.
You can't kill baby Hitler. If you kill Hitler before Hitler is Hitler, you're just a baby murderer. That is a scientific fact, sir. That is how time travel works.
What he will become.
It doesn't matter. And trust me, there is always the concern. You got to watch more crazy stuff, Atlas. Is if you kill Hitler before Hitler is Hitler, you're making an opportunity for someone else to be worse than Hitler and replace him. I'm telling you.
Can I just go to like when he's in Vienna on the street and do it, or
I mean, it has to be after he's
in World War I. When do I do this?
It's after he's rejected from art school, but before he gets into office. I feel like that would be
all right. So I can do that when he's on the streets in Vienna because that's after he got rejected from art school.
Yeah.
Or in World War I, because that was like I found a sense of purpose or whatever.
I mean, Hitler trivia we're just throwing around. This is wow, fun facts,
bro. Well, this is okay. This is the thing, though, is like for you guys. Okay, so Caleb, you're not even born. You were born like when?
99.
99. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, realistically,
I like how that like shook him. He's like,
no. You know why? Because so the drinking age in Canada is 19 years old in my province, and 1999 I was 19 years old, so I was legal to drink. I went to a New Year's party for the year 1999, and it was a crazy party. It was so awesome. And like at the same time you were born, and I'm like, oh god, I'm closer to death every day, right? So it's one of those things where it's like I was in college when 9/11 happened, and you're like, it took up a huge amount of the mental capacity of the universe quite some time, right? Atlas, you were still quite young, but you were in school when it happened. Caleb's like, what's 9/11? I don't remember that. And you're like, God damn, right? So it's like these things that are happening now, right? Like I've had young people who are like, what's 9/11? And I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm sorry, my brain just exploded. I can't have this conversation with you.
One of my coworkers was like, I was in a high chair, and I'm like,
yeah, what the fuck? Same. I was rolling around on the floor in a diaper, and I'll tell you what, when I saw that second plane hit, I shit right in my diaper, dude. I was devastated.
Also, too, like there has been a trend of people who are like, bring, bring, hello. Oh my god, they hit the second tower. You're like, what the fuck is that? You're like, what are you? That is hilarious, but so inappropriate. But like, you're just, I don't know. What's up, nobody pooer? It's the hustle economy. Everyone is gonna need 3 to 4 jobs. Yeah, but that's the whole Living Color, which makes it.
I haven't watched Living Color in forever. I got to rewatch that show.
Hey, the best. There was an entire episode where the daughter comes back and she's like, I have a new boyfriend. He's a doctor. And the dad is like, what happened to that guy who had 100 jobs? And she's like, Daddy, he's dead. And he's like, there's 100 jobs on the market. Give me the newspaper. And you're just like, bro, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Hours now, you're like, oh, that's a cancelable offense. It's,
Yeah.
And also,
What
for
was
anyone
the Wayans
interested,
brothers? Yeah.
I would Google handyman. Not spelled how you would expect, but it is some of the funniest. Handyman in Living Color. Just okay. Handyman in Living Color, and you will possibly die a little bit. Your phone might burst into flames as well. It'll be worth it. Trust me.
I thought this was going to be a Mr. Hands type situation. I was getting a little bit nervous, but
no.
Oh, please tell me you guys know what Mr. Hands is.
I do.
Okay. Well, Atlas knows. Dino can figure it out. That'll be fine.
I'm gonna juggle that right now. Just give me a second.
Right now. Oh,
I need to know.
I get to witness a
Mr. Hands
form before my eyes, dude. This is great.
Mr. Hands. What? Why? Okay, so something came out about a horse sex case. Is that the right
there
thing?
you go. Oh yeah, baby, we got it.
There it is.
Money.
He got it. He got it.
It's involving Kenneth D. Pena, an engineer who worked for both. What the hell kind of shit is this? See, this is the thing. Is like I think about it, and I'm like, man, there was the Thunderdome when I was growing up, and then like I remember someone send me two girls, one cup, and I was just like, that's a problem. Yeah, a truck driver. These.
Lemon party.
Yeah. Lemon. Yeah. Oh,
yep.
Meat spins. Yep. Meat spins was the best because it a lot of the times I would send it to people at school who were wearing headphones and they're like, oh, just click on the flop, 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 and they're like, what the hell? And you're like, oh man, I got you good. Yeah. Bro, Fire Marshal Bill. Oh, let me tell you something. Right. Fire Marshal Bill, top tier character. That's just the hamburger helper guy. It was not the hamburger helper guy. I mean, there may have been hamburger helper involved, but no, Mr. Hands is not the hamburger helper guy.
There was like he kind of became hamburger helper, if you catch my drift.
Yeah. I'm gonna have some light reading after this. Thank you, Caleb.
I love the idea of like you're treating it like it's Batman. Like he became the hamburger helper.
He became
that day. I am the Wicked Witch of the West.
The hamburger helper after that.
I feel like that is the one, like a great intro is like, and that was the day he became the hamburger helper, and he just puts on the glove on the top of his head, but it's like as tight as a condom. He's like. And then he breathes out. It just boom. You're like it's this. Yeah. I have too much creativity today. I think I need to go smoke a joint or something.
That's good. It means you're bored, and that's awesome.
I mean, well, yeah. Listen. All of our visitors have left, so I'm trying to schedule a time where I can have a day to do some mushrooms because I'm like, you can't do it when family's visiting. That is a recipe for disaster. I don't even want to do it when my wife's around because. She ruins a good buzz. That's factual. She's a nerd. She doesn't do that kind of stuff. She's like a real person. It's bullshit. Right. It's crazy. But you know how it is.
So you guys didn't get too gay. Here's the thing, Schnickel. Don't use that as like a
hey. His generation's bringing it back. It's okay. It's
not
fine.
Cool. Not cool.
Hey, I'm Greek. I'm allowed to. I'm grandfathered. I can use it all I want.
Okay. Anyway, so the conclusion we can bring all this to is that Gen Beta, you guys got kind of
good fucking luck, kid.
Yeah,
yeah, and like we'll try our best. Hopefully, we can bring together the class solidarity that is the 99% of us getting fucked over, generation or otherwise. Because the point of this show from the get-go that Caleb was here for when he was our co-host. That Dino and I have been here the whole time is that even though we're different ages and we've had different experiences, we're not so different, you and I.
And
if you like the show, leave a like, leave a comment, tell your friends, follow us at Generation Dan on any social media except for Twitter because I blew that shit up. So Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, it's all there. Caleb, where can people find you?
People can find me on, well, I guess I still do technically have a Twitter page at Port Misty Music. It still exists, even though I don't post on there because I'm terrified of leaving evidence that I exist on the internet.
Fair.
I also...
How Skynet catches you. It's fine. Yeah.
A little bit of a hyper niche example, but if you live in the Broomfield, Colorado area and you need a car, hit me up. I got you. I sell cars now, so
I mean, that's
if
fair.
you want a car, let me know.
Realistically, I may have somebody for you. That's
there
fine.
you go. So
That's the thing.
yeah. No, also Port Misty on SoundCloud. I actually have a new song coming out fairly soon as well.
Nice.
Awesome. That'll all be in the description. For people who are listening to this the day it comes out, or if you're watching this right now, January 19th, me and Dino are going to be on a fundraiser for all the people in LA affected by the wildfires, and for my old high school what I went to as a kid, Pali High.
Yeah.
So I'll have a link for that in the description.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you can follow me at Atlas Novack wherever good social medias are found, except for Twitter. My TikTok right now is just me posting sketches about like freaking out about the fires, because what the hell else am I supposed to do? I have a bag packed and I'm just kind of sitting there going, okay, now what?
What happened?
Yeah. Hurry up and do nothing. It's great.
Yeah. Hurry up and do nothing. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Or my other show, Nexus at Night, which is about the card game Card Fight Vanguard. If that's not your bag, I understand, and go fuck yourself. Dino, how about you?
That's fair. That's totally reasonable. Go ahead, Caleb. You had something
Sorry,
to...
yeah, one more thing. I will be at a couple of big Tekken tournaments coming up. So Winter Showdown coming up. It's the Southwest Regional for fighting games. I will be there. So if you're into fighting games and you're in the Southwest United States, come through to Westminster, Colorado, big regional tournament happening. I will be at that. And then also coming up this year, I plan to be at Evolution as well as maybe Combo Breaker as well. So see me there.
Fancy.
Ooh,
that's so exciting.
You
I just
should
started playing...
come on the Nexus at Night stream. One of our co-hosts is like super into King of Fighters and Tekken. So
Please,
yeah.
I want to.
I just started playing Marvel Rivals. It's very enjoyable.
Nice.
It's like Overwatch, but with Marvel characters, and I'm a nerd. So I'm like, hey, I've been playing Punisher the whole time, and it's just been fantastic because you just shoot people. And I'm like, I got a lot of... Listen, I'm preparing to be the 51st state, and I already told people, I'm like, I'm all for it. I'm getting all the guns. That's good. Basically,
I'm hoping that you guys absorb the West Coast and we become part of you. That would be cool.
That's a horrible idea. I say we do tradesies. We have about the same population. California can now be Canada, and Canada will now become California. We just swap out. And that way you guys get healthcare, we get your guns. I think it's a fair trade. I think it's a real, like, because we're a little bit hoity-toity. That's fair. We have it's fine. It'll work. The math works, trust me. But yeah, so everyone, listen, you can follow me at Dino the Genetic Marvel everywhere. As Atlas said, we are doing a fundraiser. It has already raised money. They didn't go with my suggestion for the fundraiser, which was support your local billionaire. Apparently that wasn't going to go over well. Fine. But the whole idea... By the way,
support is in quotes, and the quotes are made of Luigi. So
yeah, basically. Yeah. And it's a green Luigi hat behind it, like Batman, like yeah. So the whole idea is, though, that we are raising funds with a nonprofit that actually helps people directly, instead of like, oh, we help people in some way, like the fire department. No, it's very specific, and actually going out to help specific people who have been affected by this, and that way we can...
This show, including like Kelly Zimnikas, who's running the thing in the first place, Mary Kennedy, are all going to be on this fundraiser. So if you're a fan of this show, go check it out. I think we might also be doing an extra special episode of Generation Dan during it.
Yes, probably. And also to Michelle Hitchcock, nobody likes this show, bro, but you're watching, and we appreciate you, whether you appreciate yourself or not. So don't worry about it.
Also, I appreciate your last name.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
But yeah, so tomorrow we have a whole bunch of shows coming out. So this week we have Life of Giants on Mondays. I am trying to, so we're doing a whole big clean out of the house. It's like I'm getting room, but then room is being taken away from me. It's a whole thing. But Slowly, I am creating areas where I can build Lego on a bigger thing because I'll be honest with everyone, my wife loves me and she got me Barad-dûr. So it's going to take up a lot of my time because I will have the Eye Sauron watching me in my spare time. I feel like that's a beneficial thing just for me specifically. So these things are all coming in the future. So please make sure you like, subscribe. If you want, feel free to let us know someone you hate. We can shout them out in a negative capacity because we are for sale in any way, shape, or form. But please stay tuned. There's a lot coming out. We have Hammer and Cheese on the weekend for cooking and all sorts of stuff. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, whether it's out of love or spite. Either one's fine with me. I don't care. I'm bigger than you and I don't care. So have a wonderful day, everyone. And we will see you very soon. See ya.